A study by the Pew Research Center in 2016 found 20% of those surveyed donated to a crowdfunding campaign. Half of them gave between $11 and $50. 63% said they had given money to help a friend or acquaintance. GoFundMe is an American for-profit crowdfunding platform. It allows people to raise money for events ranging from life events, such as celebrations and graduations, to challenging circumstances, such as accidents and illnesses. From 2010 to early 2020, over $9 billion has been raised on the platform, with contributions from over 120 million donors from all over the world. The US, Canada, the UK, Australia, France, Germany, Italy, Ireland, the Netherlands, and Spain. GoFundMe is a free platform which helps make it one, if not the most popular crowdfunding platform. The company was founded in May of 2010 by Brad Demphousey and Andrew Ballister. The current CEO is Tim Cadigan. But what happens if the person on GoFundMe you are donating to ends up being a fraudster? The company claims it is dedicated to empowering people to help people. They claim to do this by carefully reviewing each campaign posted to their platform. They say fraudulent campaigns make up less than 0.1% of all GoFundMe campaigns. They swear they take swift action if someone is fraudulent. The policy, which they claim to strictly enforce, says it is not permitted to lie or intentionally deceive donors on GoFundMe for financial or personal gain. So, without further ado, let's discuss several stories of people lying or intentionally deceiving donors on GoFundMe for financial or personal gain. Then, we will discuss how to protect yourself from GoFundMe scams and how to report them. How's that for a lead-in? Hello, beautiful people. I hope that you are all having a fabulous, fabulous day. Please do like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you are new. Thank you. Victoria Morrison of Carson City, Nevada, faked her son Blake's terminal illness and launched a GoFundMe campaign that was meant to raise money for his bucket list. She did end up raising $2,000 in the campaign, which lasted over a month. In April of 2017, she was arrested and charged with obtaining money by false pretenses. She pled guilty in May, and she was facing a minimum of 5 years and up to 12.5 years in prison. Georgia went into mourning when Barry Sutton, a civilian contractor and also a former police officer, was killed by a car bomb in Afghanistan. A GoFundMe campaign was quickly made in his honor. It was organized by a family friend named Brandy Holder. She claimed that she was raising money for a memorial duck hunt for the fallen officers' daughters. Then that duck hunt never occurred. She withdrew nearly $5,000 from the GoFundMe campaign. She only gave $400 to the Sutton family and then stopped returning all of their phone calls, and they could no longer contact her. Brandy Holder pled guilty to felony theft by conversion and was sentenced to 2 years in prison and another 8 months on probation in October of 2016. In Burlington, Ontario, not that far from me, in November of 2014, a woman named Cynthia Smith faked a rare neurological disorder to raise more than $126,000 in a GoFundMe campaign. She told her loved ones that she had overcome a massive stroke and organ failure, and that this was part of a rapid onset of chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, CIDP. Sorry if I butchered that. After a while, those who had donated to the campaign began to suspect something was off, and it ended up being determined that this woman was never even sick. So in May of 2015, she was charged with defrauding the public of more than $5,000. In October of 2016, she ended up pleading guilty to a lesser charge of fraud under $5,000. She is lucky because here there's a difference when you get charged with theft under $5,000 and theft over $5,000. And as you heard, she did take them for over $5,000. She should have been charged for a lot more. She also ended up getting off with only 2 years of probation. The police were only able to recover $7,200 of the money that this woman had raised. There was even a man in 2018 from New Jersey who allegedly beat up his own puppy and then started a GoFundMe campaign to profit off of it. Yeah, you heard me correctly. His name was Reed Herjo, and he raised more than $14,000 for an emergency surgery for his German Shepherd puppy, whom he named Atlas. In January of 2018, Herjo got pulled over for speeding by the police in Medford Township while he was on his way to taking the dog to the veterinarian. He told the police and the vet that the dog had been hit by an ATV. A week later, the puppy passed away. Oh, rest in peace, Atlas. The vet had realized that this guy owned that puppy for less than 3 months, and the puppy had suffered injuries at least 3 times in those 3 months. So, he was arrested and charged with animal cruelty as well as theft by deception in April of 2018. Last Thanksgiving, Burlington County couple Caitlin McClure and Mark D'Amico? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. Launched the online fundraiser for Johnny Bobbitt, a homeless veteran, after he gave his last $20 to McClure when she ran out of gas on I-95 in Philadelphia last year. Of course, since it was Thanksgiving, the donations poured into the campaign and they raised $400,000. However, Bobbitt is now saying that he did not receive all the money. The couple claimed they didn't give the full amount to Bobbitt immediately because they heard that he had a substance abuse problem, and they feared he would spend it irresponsibly. Now, Bobbitt is suing McClure and D'Amico and GoFundMe as promised to make sure he is made whole. Shortly after, the couple's home in Florence Township was raided by police. So according to a plea agreement filed in U.S. District Court in New Jersey, federal prosecutors agreed to dismiss multiple charges against Mark D'Amico. There were 14,000 people who ended up donating to this. In 2019, D'Amico admitted to committing state crimes and pleaded guilty to a single count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. He faces up to 20 years in prison. The funny thing about this is that it then came out that Caitlin McClure pled guilty to federal crimes and is also awaiting sentencing, which we knew was coming, but also Johnny Bobbitt Jr., The apparent homeless man has also pled guilty to federal crimes and is awaiting sentencing. The courts have found out that D'Amico and McClure spent significant amounts of these proceeds on gambling, vacations, and luxury goods. The prosecutors now believe that, Bobbitt may have been a homeless veteran, but the three of them were complicit in fabricating the story that he helped this couple by giving his last $20, so they were raising money for him. So the funniest part of this story is the fact that Bobbitt tried to sue the couple for taking him out of the earnings of the scam and ended up admitting to fraud himself. AARP's Fraud Watch Network helpline also hears from people who report being defrauded by bad actors on the GoFundMe website. A Pennsylvania man who had just lost his 30-year-old nephew said that his name had been used by a stranger to supposedly collect money for the funeral. He said he did not establish the page, which is no longer online, and did not have access to any donations. A Maryland woman said that after her daughter died, the deceased's aunt started a GoFundMe page allegedly for expenses, but she ended up stealing all the money for herself and she never got anything. GoFundMe said it keeps 2.9% of contributions plus 30 cents per donation as a transaction fee. Remaining dollars go to the beneficiaries of the campaign. Donors can also offer a tip to GoFundMe in a show of support. Although GoFundMe does have a dedicated team to ensure the money raised goes to the intended recipients. So if something fails in that regard, the GoFundMe team does issue a refund and you can get a hold of them. But it is fair to say that fake fundraisers still occur even with those measures in place. I mean, scammers will use anything to get money out of good-intentioned victims, even charitable fundraisers. How do we end up spotting a fake fundraiser so that we can protect ourselves from these scams? One of the best ways is to get outside confirmation before ever donating. When people hear of tragic events, many feel compelled to do whatever they can to help. Of course, crowdfunding sites make it really easy for us to just hand over our credit card number and provide that help. The best thing you can do is use an external source to verify that a fundraiser's dollars genuinely go to the victim. Navigate to Google or another search engine, if you use another one, and search for one or more of the parties involved. Try to verify that the claims are real. So if they are speaking about a tragic event they need donations for, it is fair to say that you could Google or another search engine, if you use another one, if this has happened before you donate. Always read the GoFundMe description and updates. Read them very thoroughly. When GoFundMe identifies a potentially fraudulent campaign, it may require the people involved to clarify things for the site's users. There was a case where a woman raised more than $200,000 to prevent her eviction while she claimed she was the mother of 3 young girls. When she went to the national news about this story, the media outlet ultimately realized that it was a misleading statement. So GoFundMe required that she post an update on the platform to state that she's not their biological mom, but a mother figure in their lives. Taking the time to read the GoFundMe campaign information carefully can help you decide if you're giving money to a good cause. And are people who are actually who they say they are? Does the person asking for money provide clear details about the reasons for needing financial assistance to make you feel confident about giving over your money? If not, don't donate. Consider donating to a charitable organization instead. One of the best ways to ensure that GoFundMe does not rip you off is if you do not use these campaign websites. Go to an organization that you're familiar with or a charity you're familiar with and donate directly to them. That way you know for sure that your money is going to them and they'll tell you exactly what they spend it on. You can usually look up a report of all the charities and organizations and see what percentage of everything goes to where. Always check the donor comments. Sometimes when people think they're getting scammed or they have proof that they are being scammed, they will comment underneath the GoFundMe campaign. So before donating, go through all the comments, see if there's any red flags there. If you don't see any people commenting either who are family members or close friends of the beneficiary, that could also be a red flag. Check who's commenting. At the very least, treat it as a cue to dig deeper to find more information about donating. That's when I'd head over to Google for sure, or whatever search engine you use. Make sure that you only donate to people that you know. Yes, I said donate to an organization or charity that you know. Now I'm also going to say only donate to people that you know. So if a friend on Facebook shares a GoFundMe for themselves and you are aware of their situation and who they are, of course donate away. It's just one of the best ways to be safe. GoFundMe can be an amazing crowdfunding platform that does help people through bad situations. However, like everything else, it can also be a bad thing, and there could be people out there that want to fraud you out of your hard-earned money. So it is always important to protect yourself from these scams. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will leave links down below. Please go and check everything out. I will also be leaving in my description how to report these scams to GoFundMe. Please do give the video a like, subscribe if you are new here. I would love it if you joined our fabulous members, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and be careful of these scams. Bye.